Nobody on that beach knew Bruce Lee was watching. Not the 26 Navy SEALs running combat drills in the sand. Not the special warfare instructors timing them from the shoreline. Not Lieutenant Commander Frank Gravedigger Harding, the most decorated hand-to-hand combat instructor in the history of naval special warfare, who was about to make the worst mistake of his career. In the next 5 seconds, every SEAL on that beach would go completely silent, and the lesson they learned that afternoon would change the way the United States military thought about close-quarters combat for the next 30 years. This is what happened on Saturday, October 14, 1967, Coronado Island, California. This is the story that was classified for years, told in whispers by operators who were there and believed by almost no one. Coronado Island, California, Naval Amphibious Base. Saturday afternoon, October 14, 1967. 2:15 p.m. The sun is brutal, 94 degrees, no cloud cover. The kind of Southern California heat that bakes the sand until it burns through boot leather. On the west side of the base, behind a chain-link fence topped with razor wire, there is a stretch of private beach that most Navy personnel never see. This is the SEAL training compound. Off-limits to everyone except special warfare operators, their instructors, and the occasional visiting brass who want to watch America's most dangerous men practice the art of killing. Today is different. Today there is a guest. The base commander, Captain Raymond Wells, has arranged a private demonstration, a martial arts exhibition for SEAL Team 1 and select members of the underwater demolition teams. 26 operators in total, every one of them hand-picked. Every one of them among the most physically dangerous men in the American military. They sit on wooden bleachers set into the sand, shirtless, sunburned, arms like bridge cables. Most have just returned from deployment in Vietnam. They have seen real combat. They have killed with their hands. They are not easily impressed. The man they've come to watch hasn't arrived yet. On the raised wooden platform that serves as the demonstration area, Lieutenant Commander Frank Harding is warming up. And this is important. You need to understand who Frank Harding is before anything else happens on this beach. Because what happened to Frank Harding that afternoon only matters if you understand the man he was before Bruce Lee arrived. Frank Gravedigger Harding. The nickname wasn't a joke. He earned it in Korea, 1951, when he killed 3 Chinese soldiers in a trench with nothing but an entrenching tool. A small folding shovel, the kind used to dig foxholes. He was 19 years old. He dug the graves himself afterward. Someone saw it. The name stuck. By 1967, Harding was 35 years old, 6 feet 3 inches tall, 228 pounds of functional military muscle, not gym muscle. The kind of strength built by swimming in freezing ocean water, carrying wounded men through jungle, and 16 years of daily hand-to-hand combat training. His neck was wider than most men's thighs. His hands were the size of dinner plates, thick, scarred, calloused from a lifetime of hitting things harder than himself. His credentials were staggering. Black belt 3rd Dan in judo, trained under Masahiko Kimura's lineage. Expert-level practitioner of Kodokan judo and military combatives. He'd completed the Marine Corps martial arts program before it was officially a program. He'd trained with the British Royal Marines, the French Foreign Legion, and the Israeli Krav Maga instructors at Camp Nitzanim. 14 years as the Navy's primary close-quarters combat instructor. Over 200 SEALs trained personally by his hands. He had never in 14 years of instruction and sparring been taken down by a student. Not once. Not ever. He had a record that most men couldn't comprehend. 340 official sparring victories against military operators from every branch. Marines, Army Rangers, Green Berets, British SAS, Australian SAS. He fought them all. He beat them all. His submission rate was 94%, meaning 94 out of every 100 men he fought ended up on the ground, tapping out, unable to continue. The other 6 lost by points. None of them won. Nobody beat the Gravedigger. That was the rule. Everyone on the base knew it. But what made Harding truly formidable wasn't his size or his record. It was his philosophy, his absolute, unshakable belief in one principle. Real fighters are made in real combat, not in dojos, not in tournaments, not on movie sets. Harding believed that the only martial art that mattered was the one tested under fire, in the mud, in the dark, against men who were trying to kill you. Everything else was theater, and he never missed a chance to say so. He was famous for it, infamous, really. He'd given speeches at military conferences dismissing karate as wooden board tricks. He'd written a 12-page internal report to the Department of Defense arguing that Asian martial arts were overrated and tactically inferior to Western combatives. He once told a visiting Japanese judo delegation that their art had been watered down to a sport, and that no judoka alive could handle a seal in a real fight. The Japanese delegation left early. His men respected him. They also feared him. He ran the combatives program with iron discipline and absolute authority. His word was law on the training ground. His ego was the size of the aircraft carriers that sailed past the base every morning. And on this particular Saturday, his ego was about to write a check that his body could not cash, because Harding didn't want this demonstration. When Captain Wells told him that a martial arts instructor from Los Angeles would be coming to the base to demonstrate something called Jeet Kune Do, Harding had laughed, openly, in front of the captain. "A movie actor?" Harding said. "You're bringing a movie actor to demonstrate fighting to Navy SEALs?" Captain Wells explained that the visitor came highly recommended, that he'd impressed several high-ranking officers at a private showing, that this was a request from above. Harding didn't care. He'd heard the name Bruce Lee, some Chinese actor from a canceled television show. Played a sidekick. A sidekick. Not even the main character. This was the man who was going to teach Navy SEALs about combat? "Captain," Harding said, with the kind of confidence that only 340 victories can build, "with all due respect, real fighters don't do movies. Movies are pretend. What we do here is real. Bringing an actor to a SEAL compound is an insult to every man on this base." Captain Wells told him the demonstration was happening regardless. Harding could participate or watch. "Oh, I'll participate," Harding said. "I'll show your movie star what real fighting looks like." The SEALs on the bleachers know all of this. They've heard Harding talk about it for a week. The Gravedigger versus the movie actor. That's the entertainment. That's why they're here, not to watch a demonstration, to watch Harding embarrass a Hollywood actor on their beach. At 2:25 p.m., a dark blue 1966 Pontiac GTO pulls into the base parking lot. Two men step out. One is tall, broad Filipino. This is Dan Inosanto, Bruce Lee's student, training partner, and friend. The other is smaller, 5 feet 7 inches. Maybe 138 pounds on a generous scale. Black pants, white shirt, sleeves rolled to the elbows. No uniform, no belt, no patches. No indication whatsoever that this man has any martial arts training at all. He looks like a college student who wandered onto a military base by accident. An escort leads them to the beach compound, through the gate, past the obstacle course, past the diving tanks, past racks of weapons that most civilians will never see. Bruce Lee takes it all in, calm, curious, no tension in his body. Dan Inosanto walks beside him, leans in, whispers, "These guys are serious, Bruce. SEALs, Vietnam veterans. The instructor has been talking trash about you all week." Bruce nods. "Good. That means he'll be honest." They reach the demonstration area. 26. SEALs on the bleachers turn to look. The reaction is immediate and visible. Disappointment. They expected someone bigger, someone who looked like a fighter, someone who at least wore a gi, had a black belt, had some visible sign of authority. What they see is a slim Chinese man in street clothes who weighs less than any man on those bleachers by at least 40 pounds. Harding sees Bruce from the platform. He doesn't bother to hide his expression. A smile, not friendly, predatory. The kind of smile a man makes when he knows the next few minutes are going to be very, very easy. Captain Wells makes the introduction. Gentlemen, this is Mr. Bruce Lee. He's a martial arts instructor from Los Angeles. He practices something called Jeet Kune Do, which he developed himself. He's also an actor. Some of you may recognize him from the Green Hornet television program. Silence. A few SEALs exchange glances. One of them, a petty officer named James Coburn, not the actor, leans to the man next to him. He's the karate guy? He's tiny. Harding steps forward on the platform. Extended hand. The handshake is a test. Harding squeezes. Hard. Bruce's hand disappears inside the Gravedigger's grip. 228 pounds of pressure behind it. The kind of handshake that makes lesser men wince. Bruce doesn't wince. His expression doesn't change. His hand, smaller by half, holds firm. Later, Harding will tell people that the small man's hand felt like it was made of warm iron. "Mr. Lee," Harding says, voice carrying across the beach so every SEAL can hear. "Welcome to the real world. We don't use stunt doubles here." A few SEALs laugh. They know the Gravedigger. This is his stage. Bruce smiles. Politely. "I appreciate the welcome, Lieutenant Commander. I look forward to showing your men something useful." Harding's smile hardens. Useful. That's an interesting word. "You know, Mr. Lee, my men have been in actual combat. They've fought for their lives, against men with weapons, in the dark, in the water. What they don't need is a movie actor showing them fancy kicks." The beach is quiet now. 26 SEALs watching. This isn't part of the demonstration. This is personal. Harding is establishing dominance, marking territory. Bruce speaks, quiet, calm. But every man on that beach hears him clearly. "Lieutenant Commander, I didn't come here to teach your men fancy kicks. I came here because someone asked me to show them something they haven't seen before. If it works, they'll know. If it doesn't, they'll know that too. Either way, I'm not going to waste anyone's time." A pause. Harding weighs the response. It wasn't the reaction he expected. No anger, no defensiveness, no ego, just calm certainty. Captain Wells intervenes. "Gentlemen, shall we begin? Lieutenant Commander Harding has agreed to serve as the demonstration partner." "I volunteered," Harding corrects. Big difference. The two men step onto the platform. The wooden surface is 8 feet by 8 feet. Barely enough room for one man Harding's size, let alone two fighters. The sand around it is soft. The bleachers are 15 feet away. The size difference is obscene. Harding towers over Bruce, 8 inches taller, 90 pounds heavier. His arms are nearly as thick as Bruce's torso. His fists look like cinder blocks wrapped in skin. Standing next to the Gravedigger, Bruce Lee looks like a boy who showed up to the wrong class. 26 SEALs. Combat veterans. Men who have survived Hell Week, who have killed enemy combatants, who have trained under the most punishing physical regimen in the American military. Every one of them is thinking the same thing. This is going to be over fast. Harding settles into his fighting stance. Kuzushi position, judo base, feet wide, center of gravity low, hands up and forward, ready to grip, clinch, and throw. His weight shifts to the balls of his feet. He's fought 340 men from this stance. His body knows what to do before his brain decides. Bruce stands naturally, feet close together, weight balanced, hands at his sides, then slowly rising. Not a traditional stance, not Wing Chun, not boxing. Something else. Fluid. Alive. His lead hand extends slightly. His rear hand hovers near his chest. His fingers are loose, relaxed, but his eyes are locked on Harding's center mass. None of the SEALs recognize this stance. It doesn't look like any fighting position they've been trained to identify. It looks casual, almost careless, like Bruce forgot he was supposed to be fighting. Harding thinks he knows what will happen. The small man will try some kind of showy technique. A spinning kick, maybe. Something from the movies. Harding will absorb it, close distance, grab the actor, and put him on the ground in 3 seconds. 4 at most. Captain Wells speaks. This is a controlled demonstration. Light to moderate contact. We're showing technique, not trying to hurt each other. Understood? Both men nod. But Harding's nod is different. There's something behind it, a decision already made. He's going to press hard, real hard. Show these SEALs what happens when Hollywood meets the real military. Begin. Harding moves first. He always moves first. Forward pressure. Close the distance. Get hands on the opponent. That's judo. That's combatives. Control and destroy. He surges forward. 3 quick steps. His hands shoot out, reaching for Bruce's collar, his wrist, anything to grip. Kumikata, the grip fighting that starts every judo exchange. Bruce isn't there. He's moved. 2 inches. Maybe 3. Offline, just outside Harding's reach. Minimal movement. Not a jump, not a leap, not a dramatic evasion. Just a shift. The kind of movement you might miss if you blinked. Harding's hands close on air. His momentum carries him half a step past where Bruce was standing. He resets, turns. Bruce is already facing him. Same relaxed stance. Same calm eyes. The SEALs lean forward on the bleachers. Harding attacks again. Different approach. Low single leg takedown. Drop level, shoot for the lead leg, drive through. This is bread and butter for a military grappler. He's taken down men who outweighed him with this technique. He drops, shoots, fast for a man his size. Bruce's front leg lifts, just slightly, 3 inches off the platform. Harding's hands pass under it. Bruce's leg returns to the ground as Harding's momentum sends him low and off balance. Bruce's hand touches the back of Harding's neck. Light. Just fingertips. But the placement is precise. Exactly where a killing strike would land. The message is instant and clear. If this were real, you'd be dead. Harding scrambles up. His face is red. Not from exertion, from something worse. Embarrassment. In front of his men. On his beach. In his compound. He comes again. Standing this time. Combination. Jab, cross, clinch attempt. Military combatives. Practical. Direct. Brutal. The same combination that has dropped Special Forces operators. Bruce slips the jab. 4 inches to the right. The cross passes over his left shoulder. He's inside now. Wing Chun range. Pak Sao, a slapping deflection, redirects Harding's extended arm. Not blocked. Redirected. Changed angle. Harding's arm is pushed 6 inches offline. His balance shifts. For a quarter second, the left side of his body is exposed. Bruce's right hand fires. Straight blast. Jik Chung Chui, a centerline punch aimed at the solar plexus. But it stops. 1 inch from Harding's body. Close enough that Harding feels the wind displacement on his skin. Close enough that every SEAL on the bleachers sees the fist hovering over a kill zone. Bruce holds it there for 2 full seconds, then withdraws, steps back, returns to his stance. The silence on the beach is absolute. 26. Navy SEALs are not breathing. They are trained observers. They know what they just saw. 3 exchanges. 3 times the Gravedigger attacked. 3 times the smaller man wasn't there. 3 times the smaller man showed he could have ended it. Harding knows it too. But his pride is a living thing. It has its own heartbeat, its own demands. He attacks again. This time there is no technique, no strategy. There is rage. Harding throws everything. Osotogari, the major outer reap. Uchimata, the inner thigh throw. Harai Goshi, the sweeping hip throw. Punches, elbows, a knee strike. 16 years of combat training unleashed in a furious 8-second barrage. Bruce moves through it like smoke through a chain-link fence. Under the reap, around the throw, outside the hip technique. Each movement minimal, each response precise. His hands touch Harding's techniques as they pass, Lao Sao, pulling hand, guiding them offline by inches. Just enough. Never more than necessary. Twice more, Bruce's hands stop at kill zones. Once at Harding's throat. Bug, thrusting fingers, halted half an inch from the windpipe. Once at his temple. A hook punch pulled 2 inches from contact. Each time, Bruce holds the position. Each time, the message is the same. I choose not to. The 8-second barrage ends. Harding stands on the platform, breathing like he just swam a mile in open ocean. His hands are on his knees, his GI top is disheveled, sweat pours down his face. He has thrown every technique in his arsenal. He has landed nothing. The small man in street clothes isn't even breathing hard. The silence stretches for 5 seconds, the longest 5 seconds any man on that beach has ever experienced. 26 Navy SEALs, men who have heard the sounds of war, of explosions, of gunfire, of men dying, sit in perfect silence. Because what they've just witnessed is something their training never prepared them for. Something they have no framework to understand. The impossible. Captain Wells begins to speak, but Harding raises his hand, stops him. The Gravedigger straightens up, looks at Bruce Lee, really looks at him, for the first time. Then Frank Harding does something that no SEAL on that beach has ever seen him do. Something they will talk about for the rest of their careers. Something that many of them, decades later, will describe as the most shocking moment they witnessed in their entire military service. He bows, not a casual nod, a deep, formal bow, the kind taught in Japanese martial arts, the kind that means I acknowledge you, I was wrong, you are the superior fighter. Bruce bows back. Equal depth, equal respect. Then Harding speaks. His voice is different now. The arrogance is gone. The bluster is gone. The Gravedigger is gone. What's left is a man who has just been given the rarest gift a fighter can receive. The truth about his own limitations. Mr. Lee, Harding says, I owe you an apology. I called you a movie actor. That was disrespectful and it was wrong. Bruce steps closer, speaks quietly, but in that silence, every word reaches the bleachers. You don't owe me anything, Lieutenant Commander. You have excellent instincts. Your judo is powerful. Your timing is strong. You've trained your body well. Then why couldn't I touch you? Because you're fighting the style, not the man. You attack where the system tells you to attack. You defend how the manual says to defend. You follow the doctrine. But real combat has no doctrine, no manual, no system. You have to feel the opponent, read his energy, respond to what is, not what you've trained for. Harding stares at him, processing. 14 years of certainty crumbling in real time. Bruce continues. Your men, he nods toward the bleachers. They go into combat against enemies who don't follow rules, who don't fight fair, who don't care about technique. You need to train them the same way. Teach them principles, not patterns. Teach them to adapt, not to repeat. The best fighter is not the one who knows the most techniques. The best fighter is the one who can use whatever works in the moment he needs it. The SEALs are leaning forward, every one of them. These are men who trust actions over words. They saw the action. Now the words land like gospel. Bruce addresses them directly. Every system has value. Judo, karate, boxing, wrestling, kung fu. But no system is complete. The moment you believe your style is the only truth, you stop growing. And the moment you stop growing, someone who is still growing will defeat you. Be water. Water doesn't have a style, it has a purpose. To flow, to find the way, to fill the space. That's what combat demands. Harding extends his hand. Not the bone-crushing test from earlier. Open, honest. Will you teach us? Not a demonstration. Real instruction. Come back, work with my men. Show them what you showed me. Bruce studies him. sees what he needs to see: sincerity, humility, the ego not destroyed but transformed. "I'll come back," Bruce says, "but I'm not going to teach you Jeet Kune Do. I'm going to teach your men to find their own way of fighting. Every man here has different strengths, different bodies, different instincts. The worst thing I could do is give them another system to follow. I'll give them principles. What they build from those principles is their own." Harding nods. Something has shifted. Not just in him, in every man watching. For the next 3 hours, Bruce Lee conducts what several of the SEALs will later describe as the most transformative training session of their military careers. He demonstrates trapping techniques from Wing Chun, Chi Sao, sticking hands, the sensitivity drill that develops reflexes faster than any reaction training the military had ever used. He shows them interception theory, hitting the opponent during his attack, not after. He explains economy of motion, why the shortest distance between 2 points eliminates wasted time and energy. He sparred with volunteers, 3 more SEALs, each larger than himself, and each time demonstrated the same principle. Size, strength, and aggression fail against timing, precision, and adaptability. Harding watches every moment, takes notes. For the first time in 14 years, the teacher becomes the student. After the session, Bruce and Dan Inosanto walk back to the parking lot. The sun is setting over the Pacific. The base is quiet. Dan shakes his head. 3 hours. They didn't want you to leave. They're good men, Bruce says, honest fighters. They just needed to see that the way they've been trained isn't the only way. Harding didn't take it easy on you. That second exchange, he tried to hurt you. I know, Bruce says. That's how I knew he was worth teaching. A man who fights with everything he has is a man who respects combat. He just needed to learn that respecting combat means being willing to abandon what doesn't work, even if it's everything you know. They reach the car. Bruce pauses, looks back at the beach one more time. He'll be different now, Bruce says, and his men will be different because of it. Bruce Lee returned to the Coronado SEAL compound 4 more times between 1967 and 1970. Each session lasted between 2 and 4 hours. Harding attended every single one. He restructured the Navy's close-quarters combat curriculum based on what Bruce taught him. He eliminated rigid kata-based training. He introduced sensitivity drills, centerline theory, and interception timing. He taught his SEALs to fight like water. Frank Gravedigger Harding retired from the Navy in 1978 with the rank of commander. He never lost his love for judo, but he never again claimed that any single system was superior to all others. He opened a private training school in San Diego that taught a blend of judo, Jeet Kune Do principles, and military combatives. Above the door, hand-painted in black letters, was a sign that read, "No style as style, having no limitation as limitation." He told every new student the same story, about the day a 138-pound man in street clothes made 26 Navy SEALs go silent, about the day the Gravedigger learned that the deadliest fighter in any room isn't the biggest, the strongest, or the most experienced. It's the one who can see clearly, the one who adapts, the one you underestimate. Bruce Lee never discussed the Coronado sessions publicly. When asked by reporters about working with the military, he smiled and changed the subject. The details stayed with the men who were there. 26 witnesses. 1 instructor who was humbled. 1 teacher who never sought credit. The story spread the way military stories spread. Quietly. Through barracks. Through training camps. Through the whispered conversations of men who had seen things they couldn't fully explain. Some people heard it and dismissed it. Exaggeration. Myth. Hollywood legend. But those who were on that beach on Saturday, October 14, 1967, knew better. 26 witnesses. 1 who spoke with arrogance. one who answered with silence and then with movement. 5 seconds of quiet that changed everything. The day a Navy SEAL learned that the real fight isn't against the man in front of you. The real fight is against the limitations inside your own mind. The day the gravedigger put down his shovel and picked up water.